Okay guys, we're back. Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
It's been over a year to be exact, so I probably have some explaining to do. I'm getting ready to go to the office right now, so let's catch up because it's been a year. So if I remember correctly in the last vlog, where we ended up was we're gonna be moving office spaces, and ideally I was gonna bring you along for that entire journey, which I did not, sorry. The end of the year last year and for a good portion of this year was the hardest, most stressful time in my practice probably to date. So for skincare this morning, I've been trying Prose for the last little while. They customize all of their skincare. You just have to take a online consultation and they create a formula that best fits your skin. Thank you to Prose for sponsoring this video. This is my custom cleanser, which includes glycerin for hydration and water retention. So if you're new here, I'm a therapist and a content creator, and I've had a group practice for the last just over 3 years now. And initially it was just me in the practice, and now we've grown exponentially. At the last time I left off, we were still in our single office space. I was planning on finding a place to move. And the reason I stopped YouTube, to be honest, was because of just all the stress and pressure that I was going through towards the end of last year and throughout the beginning of this year. So I really enjoyed looking for office space. That part was so fun. There were so many different office spaces that I just did not like. It was just giving hospital, which was not the vibe. And then I finally found the space that we're in now, which is so bright and beautiful and warm and cozy and customizable, everything that I really wanted. So I found that space in December, signed the lease, did everything. I underestimated the amount of time, effort, stress, everything that went into moving into such a large space. So for reference, we were in maybe a 200 square foot office space, single office space before. And this new space has 4 different rooms, a reception sort of lobby area. And so all of that needed to be done prior to our opening in February. And one of the things about private practice that's difficult to prepare for is the fact that you just have to wear so many hats all of the time. So I was doing most things just by myself, which I just found really difficult. Of course, my friends and my family helped me, but ultimately I was doing things on my own. So this is my custom serum, and I learned that you use serum before you use moisturizer. My skin type is very dry, so all of my skincare products have a lot of things for moisture. So for example, this has hyaluronic acid, which helps you retain moisture. And all these ingredients are natural and sustainably sourced, which is also really nice. And then you just kind of wait for this to dry down before you put moisturizer on. I was crying weekly, at least, throughout these months. It was just so difficult. And I think it was also really scary because we weren't in a space yet where all of the office space would need to be used. And so I was also really scared that I made a big mistake because it was something like a 400% increase in rent that we were paying from our last space. So there was just a lot going on in my mind around like, okay, are we gonna actually use the space? Will the team grow enough here? Is this a mistake? Is all of this work going to end up panning out? Is it gonna feel worth it in the end? So during this same time, I was also in negotiations for a book deal. So that's one of the things that you guys don't know quite yet, is that I have a book deal. I'm writing a book. So back in October, in one of my vlogs, you might remember that I was planning on going on a solo trip. I was also planning on vlogging that for you guys, which I did, just didn't post it. So part of that solo trip, I used to work on my book proposal. And throughout November and December, I was going through a lot of different meetings with publishing houses and editors. So I just had my last meeting with the last of the publishing houses. I definitely have a lot of imposter syndrome right now. There's multiple offers. It was an exciting kind of stressful because, of course, the potential of writing a book and being represented by a big publisher is very cool. Nonetheless, I think it was just a lot on my plate at once. So by December, I decided to move forward with the publisher Hachette. I didn't sign the contract until later in April. It's April 29th. I signed the contract. I'm writing a book, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate this community so much. But I officially am with Hachette Books, and I will be publishing a book in 2026. So that's what I've been also working on for the last little while. So let's fast forward to January, February 2024 this year. This is my custom moisturizer. So this includes squalene and glycerin, both again for hydration for my very, very dry Sahara Desert skin. January was mostly spent updating the office, doing the reception sort of area because that's what people are gonna see first, and trying to buy as much furniture as possible in order to update the space. And then end of January, February was when we officially opened the doors and moved out of our single office space. During that time, we also hired a couple more people. So we have a social media coordinator now. We hired another therapist at that time. So even as I'm saying it back, I'm just like, oh my gosh, a lot was happening. So my skincare is finished and it provides the perfect base for my makeup now. The process with Prose really takes all the guesswork out of buying skincare products. So if you'd like your own custom mixture, head to the link in my description and you can fill out the online consultation form and get your own custom one. Throughout the beginning and also latter portions of the year, I was doing some speaking engagements and honestly really just focusing on building up my team. There was some transitions in the team that we all had to kind of acclimate to. In June, we started doing interviews for our first practicum student, so like a counseling intern, and we found one. Her name is Caitlin, and so she'll be starting in January 2025. We also did some more hiring back in June and ended up with 2 more therapists, which started in July and August. So at this point, we were a team of 9. Throughout the summer, we also started doing some community events because we found that one of the most prominent things was that a lot of people were struggling to find friends, especially in your 20s. It just becomes increasingly more difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to know, like, where do I find friends? So our very first community event was a picnic in the park in August, which went incredible. And we have been doing them pretty much every month ever since. So since then, we have been looking to hire yet again, and I'm actually doing a bunch of interviews today, which is why I'm going into the office. So by January of 2025, we should likely be a team, including our practicum student, of 11. It's both been the most incredible journey, but easily the hardest thing that I have ever done in my life. Nobody really teaches you a lot of the things that you need to know around being in private practice or growing a private practice or owning a business if you are in the mental health or any sort of medical field. So sometimes it can definitely feel a little bit isolating or just a little bit confusing, not really knowing if what you're doing is right, the decisions you're making, how to make decisions. So I think I'm sitting in a space of multiple truths where I definitely could not keep up with YouTube content last year because the way that life was going was just way too busy and hectic for that to be possible, and do it in a way where I'm actually making quality videos. And I know that sometimes the YouTube community can be different than Instagram and TikTok because not everybody has those platforms or cross follows me. So although I've been posting there, you might not have seen me in over a year because maybe this is the only platform that you follow. So I do feel bad, and I do want to say sorry for leaving y'all high and dry without any sort of warning or anything like that. But I do want to come back and be able to be more consistent on this platform. I want to find a schedule that works for this entire community and works for me so that I can show up in a way that feels consistent and you all know what to expect from me as well. So I will say that I do really appreciate all of you being here even a year plus later. And one of my goals in 2025 is to be able to come back to YouTube in a way that, like I said, feels really consistent and shines light on a lot of the behind the scenes private practice stuff and longer form content diving deeper into mental health topics. So comment below some of the things that you are curious about, whether it's private practice related or mental health topic related. I always want to make sure that I'm like creating space and visibility for the actual experience of owning a business and being a therapist, because sometimes those authentic experiences aren't always shown. And I know I could have really benefited from being able to see the behind the scenes stuff, the things that other people might have struggled with when they started or when they were growing, and been able to learn from some of those pieces. I'm gonna go get changed and I will be right back. Okay, I am ready now. This is the fit. And I am gonna go to the office, and we have a flawless base thanks to Prose. So again, Prose is fully customizable. They create your own custom skincare regimen based off of your online consultation and your own specific goals for your skin. So if you want to do an online consultation and find your own custom skincare routine, head to the link in my description. I am off to do some interviews, but I promise this is not the last time that you'll see me. Again, 2025, we're gonna hit the ground running with new content, vlogs, psychoeducation. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. And if you're new here, introduce yourself, because I know that there's a lot of new faces since last November. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will absolutely see you in the next video.